Welcome to another exciting episode of NTV Seeds of Gold. This week, we venture into the heart of northern Uganda, specifically Nwoya, just 72 kilometers from Gulu, to meet a remarkable farmer, Arthur Nkubito. This week on NTV Seeds of Gold, we are still in the great northern region of Uganda, and today we are on large mixed farm, chili peppers. Not a very common venture in the agribusiness realm, but today we are about to find out just how much gold you can get from it.
Before you even plant, go into planting this crop, it's important that you talk to the market, because the market will tell you the variety they want. Fortunately, we also get support from the agronomists from these particular exporting companies. They always come in together with the government inspectors, because it's a crop that is monitored keenly, because it has an implication if managed badly.
Arthur's story begins with his voluntary retirement. In search of an endeavor that would yield quick returns, he found himself drawn to chili farming.
Upon doing voluntary retirement, I tried to look at something that I could gauge in, that could give me some kind of quick money, a little bit consistently as I tried to establish myself. So I had already made some research and found out that actually chili can be a very good income earner.
The allure of a crop that could be harvested in as little as 3 to 4 months and consistently produce more than a ton every 2 weeks was irresistible.
Once you grow it, it takes 3 months and you start harvesting. When you start harvesting, you do it every after 2 weeks throughout. It can take 6 months to 1 year depending on how well you look after the garden. Now, I also needed the volumes, because when you want the money, of course, it has to come with the volumes when it comes to the product. With chili, it doesn't start from the garden itself, it starts from a nursery bed.
Yeah.
Once you get your quality seedlings, you prepare the ground. But the way we prepare the ground, we kind of make 1 meter by, say, 8 meters, and you heap that soil together. And then you get the manure. It could be cow dung or goat dung, and you apply it there.
Yeah.
Then you get dry leaves or grass you put, and then burn. And burn, because we are trying to kill the insects actually that might come to eat that valuable seed. Remember, the seed costs highly. A tin of this goes for around 450,000. You will need like 900,000 really to plant an acre. That is for the Demon F1.
Yeah.
For the other ones like Cayenne, they are way much cheaper. Maybe 30,000-40,000 can plant really an acre. So once you do that and you burn the grass on top of that mold that you've created, you kill those microorganisms that would actually harm this seed that you've put in the ground. After a week or so, it will emerge, because you'll have covered it with some grass. Then you can put a stand up and create the shade for them to grow quite well.
Yeah. Now,
it will take them approximately 3 weeks to 1 month in the nursery. Meanwhile, as they are growing, you prepare the lands where you're going to cultivate. Here in northern Uganda, I encourage people, for instance, if you're going to start with the rains in March, set your nursery bed in February during the dry season. Because it's a small piece, you'll have to get water and keep on irrigating, and then create a shade for it. So when the rains begin mid-March, beginning of April, your seedling will already be mature, well enough for planting. That's when you bring it to the garden. But in the garden, we encourage people to do a spacing of 3 feet by 3 feet. This will give it, enough room. Remember, and also whether it's in a very fertile place or not, chili will tend to perform well. Once it is growing, don't allow additional shoots that come from the ground off the stem. You should only allow and prune it, and allow only this one shoot from down, and let it bring the different stems. But if it's originated from somewhere quite down but still on the stem, main stem, you can leave it. Don't allow a single stem that has come up and then another parallel from the roots from the same plant coming up. Yes, that one will not perform as well. It will not expand as well, and so it will not look a very quality garden.
So did you have some bit of training before you ventured into this?
I visited one commercial farmer who does the chili in Omoro district, and so he told me. The rest I've been, of course, watching Seeds of Gold a lot. I've learned a lot, and my children actually know that. When it's time for news and after that the Seeds of Gold, they make sure to call me and I watch. So I learn a lot online. I do a lot of research, a lot of reading, and I've actually also started a YouTube channel out of this process and be able to educate people about different farming enterprises, about goats, pineapples, and so forth. I also visit other farms. So it's something that I've picked interest, but also wanting to share with the others out there who would want to venture into that.
Like any venture, chili farming comes with its fair share of challenges. Transportation and handling prove to be a hurdle, with the need to use boxes instead of sacks, often leading to damages for which compensation is rarely received.
Here we are seated on 6 acres and we are harvesting, I think, close to more than a ton every after 2 weeks, which we sell to the exporters. And this is able to give us some returns. But of course it has its own challenges, because not all the 1 ton is actually paid for because of the challenges in transportation and handling. We're a little bit unfortunate at the moment. As you've noticed, we don't have a vehicle that is supporting us in the transportation, so we rely on public means. First of all, sometimes we use borders, or we hire some special hire vehicles to come and pick from here, Lad Mix Farm, and all the way to Gulu. These are around 72 kilometers. So in the process, there is a lot of damage in the handling and so forth. We are also not using the boxes as it should be. We use the usual bags. So as the conductors are shoving them in the buses and so forth, some they will try to step that it fits, even if you tell them that it's actually a high value crop. For them, when they are doing their job, they just also want to impress their master that every luggage is fitting well in what. And so we incur. So you find that if we've sent, let's say, 1 ton, we get paid for, let's say, 600 or 700 kilograms. And the other 300, 400, we consider it a waste.
Labor is another challenge, as the local community is more accustomed to traditional crops like sorghum, maize, and simsim.
Labor is a challenge because sometimes it's due to the competing priorities that the communities are facing. Remember, much as we want to employ them, they also have their gardens where they go to. For instance, now it is raining, people are opening their gardens, they are also planting maize, sorghum, and so forth. But at the same time, weeds are also growing here. So it means identifying community members to come and, weed. Sometimes we get them, but sometimes it takes a while for them to come through. That's why you find that some parts of this farm are quite bushy. We've tried to source labor that stay with us fully, but when we engage them, for instance, somebody tells you, I'm here, but I'll take 6 months before I can go. Then after 2 weeks, for some reason, these youth, they decide to leave. And some of them will just escape in the night, and so you find yourself stuck identifying another person. It takes a while, somebody to connect you, and then the person comes. By the time you complete that, it's already coming to a 2nd week on the 3rd. And meanwhile, the weeds are growing.
Arthur believes that the challenge affiliated to labor is a reflection of the modern era, where people seek convenience and quick results.
It's just a trend, it's just a habit in society of late, because not only me, even other big commercial farmers, way bigger than me, are really grappling with labor. And remember, these are people coming all the way from other districts like Dokol and so forth. But I think we're in the .com era, really. People used to want to be in towns, hold a smartphone and slide, and spending time in the garden, in the mud. It's not something that really is resonating with the youth in this way. But it's very lucrative for those who might come in, because we try as much, really, to pay them decently and on time, but it's not easy. It's just a trend, and we just have to find ways of, dealing with it, or, circumnavigate and try to find those other enterprises that you can venture into that are not going to be labor intensive.
Diseases, pests, and fungal infections are constant threats in chili farming.
We have the fruit fly, challenge, but also we have anthracnose and the fungal infections. Those ones we spray periodically, and we've also put in the traps to try and do that. The major challenge, I would say, is the fungal infections. You find if you have a particular plant, I don't know whether it's because of the flies and the bees after pollinating going to another one, you find those other plants around that particular infected one getting also what? Challenged. And so ours is to periodically uproot and to make sure that you don't spread the soil around, and then go and sow and throw it at the boundaries.
Agronomists play a crucial role in helping farmers maintain high standards.
Fortunately, we also get support from the agronomists from these particular exporting companies. They always come in together with the government inspectors, because it's a crop that is monitored keenly, because it has an implication if managed badly. Why? As a farmer, we are given a farmer code, and this farmer code is supposed to, help the administrators, the government, and the exporting companies and the buyers to be able to trace this chili from its source to the point of destination. So if they find a challenge, say like if they say that you have a lot of pests, and from the lab tests they have done, they are able to point me out and say, put me aside and come and guide and make sure that the crop is fit. We do periodic spraying, but they also come in handy to make sure that we are doing everything right and be able to, move together.
But spraying is only done when necessary.
There are particular agrochemicals that are supposed to be applied. There are those that have been banned in countries in Europe, in the buying countries. And so the agronomist will tell you the kind of medication to apply and the intensity, or if you are to apply it every after 2 weeks or after 1 month. But for chili, we don't do it that more regular. We always do it according to need. When we scout and we see that we have some challenges, we are able to reach out to the agronomist, who will also come and look at it and then agree that maybe let's use a particular, fungicide or pesticide. But also we have those fruit fly traps and the other stickers which trap some of these insects.
For any farmer, understanding the market is paramount. In the chili business, picking green is preferable. While red chilies fetch higher rates, they are more fragile.
By the way, before you even go into planting this crop, it's important that you talk to the market, because the market will tell you the variety they want. Here we are, for instance, doing Demon F1. Is the variety. It's normally preferred red out there. It can be a very beautiful crop, but we have noticed that when we allow it to be red, we don't get many volumes as often. So for us, we took a deliberate effort to do green chili of the Demon F1, because for it, when you harvest, you pick after 2 weeks. But for the red, you can pick for the 2 months, and then you finish the garden. It does not flower as often, because also the red takes long to leave the to be harvested. So that one also, it's the constant picking that triggers the plant to keep on flowering, because I think somehow it senses it's going to die out and it wants to produce fruit.
Prices can vary, but exporters have set a minimum rate of 2,000 shillings per kilogram for green chilies. On average, a farmer can earn 1 million shillings every 2 weeks if managed well, extending up to 6 months on each year.
So we've amicably agreed that I cannot go below 2,000 shillings for a kilogram of green chili. So assuming that you have 2 acres, you are able to produce at least 500 kilograms of chili after 2 weeks, you see. But even if they sort it out, you will not fail to get at least 1 million shillings after 2 weeks to help you move. So that one is able to help you pay the workers, weeding, and also help you maybe diversify a bit. Yes,
is the pricing different for the green and the red?
Yes, the red pays more, okay, because it takes time to grow it and also picking it. But it is more fragile because, remember, it is ripe. So if you're putting it in the bag and people are carrying it badly, there are chances of getting spoiled. But it pays better because, for instance, you cannot go below 3,000 when you have red. Currently they are buying it at 5,000 a kilogram of what? Of red. You see, me, I'm giving it at 5,000, and so it's making some good returns.
The only hiccup is the unpredictable dry spell, which irrigation during the dry season could potentially solve.
Challenge with us here, it looks fresh and green and lushy because we are still in the rainy season. But once it comes to the dry season, it's a different matter from December onwards. And we are closer to the river, which does not dry, but the means to irrigate is a challenge. Because actually, if we could be able to irrigate during the dry season, maintain this crop way up to April next year, because actually most money you can get it during periods of scarcity. That is from December, January, February, March, you see. And because the whole country is experiencing a dry spell, and yet at the same time in Europe, it is the beginning of winter in December, January, February, March, and that's when they need it most. So you find exporters left and right are looking for you to be able to what? To buy. So I encourage people who would want to go into chili farming. If you can as well master the art of irrigating during the dry season, provided you have your market that is already set before you started planting, and you have your means to effectively transport this product, it can be really a game changer for a particular farmer in a region.
It's the expert opinion, and again we have our exceptional agronomist, Solomon. Yeah, today we are talking chili peppers. So one that ventures into it, what must they consider?
The level of organization of a destination market determines a lot the level of organization of the production and the value chain. A lot of the chili that is grown in Uganda is destined to the international market, especially the EU. And the EU has standards that they have put in place for fresh fruits and vegetables that producers must adhere to in order to sell to that market. And by the standards about the crop protection products, we know that it is hard to produce some crops, chili for example, in Uganda without any infestation by pests, insect pests and any infection. Because they must control these diseases, they must use crop protection products. And this means for a farmer who is out there that is producing chili, you will not use just about any pesticide. In fact, they have even put out a list of products that are acceptable for use in production of chili and those that cannot be accepted. And for those that can be accepted, they've set maximum quantities, residues that must be found or that could be allowed to exist in the chilies before you can trade with the EU. And these are called the maximum residue levels. So chili production, definitely maximum residue levels, and the selection of pesticides that are used is a must pay attention for the chili producers.
Other than those standards that they must meet, these farmers have a number of challenges that they go through. And when we visited Arthur's farm, one of his greatest challenges was transportation. They have an issue with getting the product from the farm to the markets.
The integrity of the fruit must be maintained right away from the garden. First, during harvesting, the fruit is harvested with the stalk to ensure that you do not create injuries that increase the amount of water that runs out of the fruit. One. Two, you do not create injuries that could become points of infection from pathogens within the environment. But even before that, chilies must be picked right before they start to before they ripen. They must be picked green, because once they begin to ripen, the process of ripening runs very fast as they accumulate ethylene that enhances the ripening of the fruit. And because they will be traveling for a longer period of time, they could reach the destination market while they are in a form that is not desirable, that is not demanded by that market. So picked while green, harvested with the stalk, carefully packed to ensure that they are not too much packed to squeeze each other, and transported in such a manner that does not again compromise the integrity, including introduction of undesirable and unwanted organisms. So it must be packed properly. In fact, several times they are even transported in refrigerated trucks. As they move out of the country through the ports of exit, they actually transported through temperature controlled environment to delay or reduce the rate at which they could ripen, or call it senescence. So that is extremely important for whoever is growing chilies, to make sure that they have a special way of transporting, first packaging and then transporting later to a pack house where they are sorted. And because during the transportation, for some of them could go bad, and at the pack house, so they are sorted to ensure that you only remain with those that can make it to the destination market.
Beyond exporting, there are opportunities for value addition, such as chili powder and oil production. However, Arthur emphasizes the importance of focusing on green chilies for now, as exporters can sometimes prove tricky when it comes to payment.
There are many other people that can join and benefit from the value chain and be able to, get some income off it. For us, we shall focus on the green, and we shall make sure that we provide the quality product. We encourage other members out there who would want to come and join chili farming. They can come and look at how it's performing.
Besides its economic value, chili offers health benefits. The crop is rich in vitamins and minerals, aids in weight management and pain relief, aids in heart health support, has anti-inflammatory properties, is a mood booster and an appetite enhancer. Simply put, the crop is a nutritious addition to one's diet, as Arthur and his family can attest.
I myself use it a lot in food, and the children up to the youngest, we like the chili, and so we don't complain. Actually, you could have a challenge when you come to have a meal with us, because it might be hot than you expect. So we know that we benefit a lot from it.
Yeah.
That's a wrap up for today's episode of NTV Seeds of Gold. We've delved into the fascinating world of chili farming. Join us again next week as we explore another intriguing enterprise in this vibrant region. Until then, keep chasing your dreams and sowing the seeds of success.